Hello, hello, and welcome back to Wheel of Games. For today, we're going to be playing Mansions of Madness. I do have my assistant right here. Yeah, I managed to convince her to move off from the table onto a seat next to me. Get my table space back. So, this is a game that I've been looking forward to sort of coming back to for a while because we've played it once already. That was sort of the introduction where we were learning more about how to play, maybe a bit of a refresher for me. But also, that first mission, I've played maybe a couple of times trying to introduce people to the game, and I've seen another streamer play it once before as well. But that's the only mission I've actually ever seen. So this is going to be the first time where it's actually completely brand new to me. It'll be blind again, so that's exciting. Going to be playing some fresh stuff. And let's get into this view. So we're going to be continuing the adventures of Rita and her butler, Carson Sinclair. I kind of liked that story framing device that I put in during the first one, both because they're characters that I think complement each other. Rita both being really strong and the butler sort of making up for her weaknesses with some of these. Gotta find the right camera combination for these things. So yeah, the butler making up for her weaknesses where she's strong in a lot of the physical stuff, and he's strong where she has maybe some weaknesses. And when you're playing solo, you're specifically only allowed to play with two characters, or no more than two characters, specifically because of the possibility where your characters can go insane and maybe become a secret traitor to the other players. So in the when you're only playing with two players, a lot of those insanity cards, like the ones that would turn someone into a betrayer, you would just skip. So I have to play with no more than two characters in this game, forcing me to keep things simple for myself. So as you can see, everything is blank. I'm ready to set up a map. Let's go into the app view. And one more thing is over the holiday season, I was able to pick up a couple of the smaller box expansions on a pretty good discount, as well as the DLC ones for like in the app. So I've probably at least doubled the amount of missions I have available to play, which is very nice. Makes me feel like there's more legs to this game as we go through. So, click on New Game. So we did Cycle of Eternity last time, and that's the only one I've ever seen. Let's just go to the next one in the series, Escape from Innsmouth. It's apparently far more difficult. I don't know if there's actually a strict order in which these things should be played, notably because I added those other two small box expansions that maybe it's going to add in, like, say, some of the tiles, and then I'll have to unbox them because they are right above me and they're still in their plastic wrapping. So if anything comes out from one of those games, I'll just have to take note and deal with it as it comes up. Back into the app, we're going to be playing Escape from Innsmouth. We should be able to do that. And here we go. So we are playing Rita and Carson Sinclair. And Rita must be on... Oh, right, because I added to my collection, there are more people. Like, I don't think she was on the list last time. Likewise, I think Lily Chen is one of the ones from the expansions. Now we have more characters to select from, but we're still only playing with two. Starting items. Okay, what do we have? Oh, we also start with two clues. So, switch back over to this view so you can see I'm starting to put these things together. And our butler figure, Rita, is the one who is in a running position, and the butler has his coattails, and he's standing up prim and proper. So let's start bringing out these cards. We have fine clothes, which I believe is an indication that it's a common item, is what that is. So let me just grab these out. I'll pause so you don't have to watch all this, and I'll just come right back. So I am already discovering something. The fine clothes must be from one of the expansions, because I'm not seeing it in my list of common items. So I'd better open up those boxes and add all the items to my item stacks in the base game. So a couple more steps, and I'll be right back again. Okay, so in what was hopefully a very fast process for you, but took me a fair amount of time, I unpacked and completely separated out all the pieces from both of the expansions I got, which I should say are Beyond the Threshold and Sanctum of Twilight. And when you enable them in the app, then that means they can show up at any point from then on, including the spells, the items, anything. So a couple of the things that we had brought up, most notably the fine clothes, were from one of those, so I needed to unpack everything. And I also read up on new things that hopefully we won't run into this time, but potential new rules for things called key items, basically, and restraints, which do exactly what they sound. Basically, keep the monsters in place for a turn, or allow you to get by them without having to do evade checks. But if we really encounter those things, I'll talk about them. Also, a few new status effects that popped up, like mesmerized or stressed, and I think it's best if I just go into those when we encounter them for the first time. That way I'm not trying to spend time re-going over everything. So, the things that we have found for this time, we've got 2 regular items, the fine clothes and the lead pipe. They gave us 3 spells this time, and they gave us 2 key items, the oil lamp and the old journal. And I've also put the clues in play for everyone as well. So, one other thing I thought of after I got past the beginning was it said that the game time was like 90 to 150 minutes for this one. I think for the first one it said like 60 to 90 minutes, and it still took me 3 hours to play. Mostly because I like to explain like all the strategy as I'm going, and I basically like to go slow through these things when I'm telling a story, so there's a very good chance that this will be a really long, at least recording session. If it turns out that it's a super long video, I may break this one into like a part 1 and a part 2, so you'll know by the title if I had to do that. But I'm expecting this may be a long game just from what it gave me there, so I'm just giving that potential warning in case that becomes important later. Okay, so the items that we got that we can distribute amongst our 2 players. The oil lamp is a light source, and yep, the flame is so beautiful that you begin to wish you could see it everywhere you look. So hey, we've got a light source. I'm probably going to give that to Rita. She tends to run around the most. I guess I'll put it up there. Then we've got the old journal. Okay, I think I've placated Felix for the moment. Get back to what we were doing. So got the key item, old journal, which is just evidence. This journal entry in the culprit's own handwriting is practically a confession. So that's interesting. I guess I'll give it to Sinclair to hold on to. And now our 2 regular items. We have fine clothing. Roll 1 additional die while resolving an influence test. Now, I guess that's a Sinclair kind of a thing, although, yeah, that's Rita's worst stat, so maybe if I shored up her weakness versus giving Sinclair another extra strong stat. But I think we can sort of predict most of the time what our influence things are going to be. So Sinclair is meant to be our personable person, and Rita is the woman of action. Speaking of lead pipe, we've got a heavy weapon, which has a damage rating here of 1. A bloodied pipe was found at the scene of the crime. The cause of death is still unknown. Deputy Dingby. So, Rita does have a strength of 5, which, at least, we know it certainly feels random a lot of the time. But, at least we can imagine that heavy weapons will use strength, and therefore we want to give the lead pipe to Rita. Now we've got 3 spells, which is a lot. But the first of those is Flesh Ward. Action, you or another investigator within range discard 1 damage, then flip this card. It's basically a heal. And at the very least, like we've sort of been saying that Carson is our spellcaster, she has the better will, he's got the better lore, like it's 4 and 3 either way. I could make this in either direction, but I feel like I want to give the spells to Sinclair. Let's see what the other 2 are. We've got, oh, this is one of the new ones, so I'm going to put it up on the close-up cam. So we've got Spectral Razor. This is a melee spell attack that deals spell 2 extra damage. The energy you channel lashes out with deadly precision. And the other one is also a spell attack called Shriveling. For 3 damage at range, speaking the arcane words causes boils and burns to appear on your enemy's flesh. Now, my biggest question here is, do I want to just overload Sinclair with all of these spells and then have Rita be like running around and doing the mundane things? I think the idea was that Sinclair is our support character here. He's buffing up. But the way I've got it right now is I've given him 5 of the cards and her 2 of the cards, which feels like I've definitely overloaded it on him. But on the other hand, he's got a melee spell and a ranged spell. And then, like, they are all filling different sort of roles within the party, I guess. So even though it feels like I've definitely overloaded the characters a little bit one way, maybe I'll give the old journal evidence to Rita so that she's got more of the mundane things. Now we can get into, well, actually getting into the story itself, and I believe this was voice acted last time. Let's see what happens. So continue the setup. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. Let's go.
A strange feeling crawls across your skin as you step off the bus into the small Massachusetts town of Innsmouth. Everywhere you go, you can feel the gaze of the locals' unblinking, watery eyes on your back. In every alleyway, on every street corner, you can feel the presence of the stooped, pallid residents following you, watching from a distance. You came to the coastal town at the behest of Professor Harris, a mutual friend, who asked you to gather information on the lineage of the Marsh family. However, after only half a day walking the streets of Innsmouth, all you can think about is leaving the town and its unnerving residents far behind you. You check both the bus and the train, but strangely, both have stopped running. As the sun begins to set, you come to a frightening realization. You are trapped in Innsmouth.
Trapped.
You rent an hotel
no
under a
way
false
out.
name and resolve to hole up until morning. With the door to your room securely latched, you're finally safe from the prying eyes of the locals. Or so you think.
Felix is getting a drink of water, so we added some convenient splash effects to that. Here we go. The hotel you found is a ratty hole in the wall on the back streets near the shore of the town. Place the Street 2 tile as indicated. As I'm shuffling through to put all of these pieces, or to find the right tile for these things, I think it's funny that I passed like half a dozen different alley, street corner 1, 2, 3, streets 1 and 2, so I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of moving around on this one. So let's see. There. Yeah, there is a wall on the back side of that space. And let's continue. Outside the hotel, the street stretches up the hill toward the center of town. Place a site token as indicated. Okay, so if we go into that tile, we can see what is out in that direction. Okay. The street continues to the east, past a storefront. Place a site token as indicated. Well, I guess we're starting next to on the other tile then. No. To the west, the street narrows into an alley that stretches along the side of the hotel. Place another site token as indicated. Ah, that explains it. Dim light fills the tiny hotel's interior hall. The hotel has only 2 rooms for rent. Place the interior hall tile, a door, and a wall as indicated. Okay. That tile. And then a door. And let's see what that looks like, a painting. So we cover up that door. And then I need an actual door for the other one. There. There we go. Flip it around, the handle's on the inside. Okay, looks like I've caught up to that. Let's continue. 3 other doors lead out of the hall. One door leads to a side alley, and the other 2 are marked number 1 and number 2. You check your room key. You will be staying in room number 1. Place explore tokens as indicated. Let's see, I only see the 2 explore tokens right there. Unless there's another one hidden, but we've got the side alley, and that is a door there. There's probably another one underneath right there. I just can't see it at the moment. Underneath the number 2 right here. Because on the map, that looks like the 2 rooms, I'm guessing. And it looks like there's a way out at the back of it, but we just can't see it yet. Let's see, is it there? Nope, it hasn't given it to us yet. Ah, here we go. You cram into your room and find it furnished by a lone bed with threadbare sheets and a bookshelf that holds 2 yellowing tomes. Letting the situation sink in, you pace nervously around the confines of the small room. Place your investigator figures as indicated. Well, I don't think that's Rita, but I think this is the standard symbol, no matter which investigators you've brought with you, of those 2 people right there. Okay, we are in the room. Moonlight spills in through a dingy window looking out toward the docks. Place a search token as indicated. Okay, I don't actually see a window on that wall, but we've got one. And then you glance over what little research you have managed to gather on the Marsh family thus far. The investigator holding the old journal can review the gathered evidence by interacting with it in the app. Okay, the last thing I did was I gave that over to Rita. So I guess this makes sense. Rita is, I guess, the leader here, and Sinclair is the sidekick. So she can interact with it in the app. Maybe I should have given that to Sinclair, as he's got the observation and lore. I thought it was just something we were holding on to. Everyone in the room jumps as you hear the sound of the door handle jiggling. Someone outside is trying to open the locked door. Place an Explorer token as indicated. I'm going to need to get more tokens. Okay. Someone's trying to get into our room. And this will sound very familiar to a lot of different Lovecraftian tropes. But definitely this was something that happened during, let's see, it was a game called Shadow of the Comet. And there was this whole sequence where people were trying to get into your room. I'm pretty sure it happens in dark corners of the earth as well. This is a very standard thing, and I think that's always in Innsmouth as well. So it's nice, we're hitting the classics here. Okay. Investigator phase. And here we go. So all the various things we can do. Now someone is trying to get through that door. We can do things in either order, although a player has to play their actions to completion. Yep, I did learn after last time, thanks to a helpful comment. In the rules clarifications, it actually says you can interrupt your move to do other actions. So you don't have to like move one and then like interact with a door or something and then move again. You can actually split up the move, which is especially great for someone like Rita, who can like move to do a thing and then continue their move. So it helps be a little bit more efficient in our actions going forward. Let's see. So the game did helpfully tell us that the docks are that direction, in the direction of where that Explore token is facing. Now, I really want to investigate that journal, but we're also already in danger. Flesh Ward is a heal after you've already taken damage. It's not something you can do to, like typically I think of as a ward as preemptive protection. But in this case, well, that's not the case. So I could have Sinclair, like, try to use influence, maybe, like, go through that door and say, why, hello there, why are you jiggling the door handle? But we don't know what's out there. You can also give someone else another action. But I'm thinking of starting with him with an explorer and just heading out. But he's also the one who would best be able to observe the investigate token that's in the back of the room. Now, I don't know, like, this game actually does deal with, like, hidden clocks that you just don't know about in the background. Like in the past, when they're doing their ceremony, at some point, they will finish their ceremony no matter what you've done. Some number of turns later. So I can imagine I need to be moving fast even if I can't see anything yet. So, as tempted as I am to simply, like, have Rita give the journal over to him and then have him read through it and investigate on his turn, the more things I get, that might give me more spells, more evidence towards dealing with things later on. But it's a mystery. Deal with the thing you can see, or that you know is on the other side of that door, or hope to get more information. Ooh. Playing blind definitely makes this much higher risk of a decision. Okay, I think I've decided how I want to play this. Rita as the woman of action. We're going to send her out. Maybe she can fight, whatever, but she'll try exploring that door. And then, depending on what is left, what is after that, Sinclair can either give her an extra action or support as needed. So, we're going to start with Rita. And Rita is going to investigate that explorer icon. You put your ear to the door. Oh, that's true. I can investigate. Like, I can click on each of these things, and it doesn't cost me an action until I've actually clicked on one of these things. So that's a good note. I can at least investigate, like, the smallest amount of information. Because remember, there, like, last time there was a marker that said library outside the door, and I was like, I should be able to know that kind of information when it's clearly visible to the characters on the wall. So yeah, I'm going to click on all three of these things once before I actually do any of these icons. Focus back in. You put your ear to the door. You can hear the raspy breathing of someone on the other side trying to open the lock. Okay. Yeah, barricades are a thing we can definitely do in this game. And that's definitely perhaps the best solution when you're playing in one of those the video game environments. Let's see. I think what Rita would do is throw open the door because she's got the high strength and a lead pipe behind her. She's just going to go straight into the fighting. Yeah, who is there? Maybe that's something for if our butler was doing this. But I'm leaning towards the middle option. Let's see what the other things are. The second door to your room leads to the hotel's back hall and shared bathroom. Okay, so we could go out the side. If we were planning to do, like, the barricade, that's how we would get out. And a dingy window looks out over the docks. So we could search the window. That's probably something for our butler. But we're going to take this challenge head on. Now that we've investigated all three, we're going to throw open the door. You put your shoulder into the door and send it flying open. Okay, this is a test of strength. And Rita has 5 strength. So we've also got the 2 clues. Let's see how this goes. First roll. Well, we have 3 successes straight out and nothing that we can upgrade with a clue. So what do we get from this? Smash. The door flies open, slamming into the person on the other side, and he reels back. As the figure recovers, you see from his sallow skin and large unblinking eyes that he is one of the locals. Discard this Explorer token and spawn a Deep 1 hybrid as indicated. Okay. And one of the things about the creatures is I really don't like those little stands that it tells you to put them on. Yeah, I think I'm just going to put the little pictures, you know, their little symbol things right next to them, just on the board. There we go. Found one. Okay, so there's a hybrid, and we're just looking for one of these fellows. Gotta get those big star spawns out of the way before I can even reach anything else in this bag. But that looks like a deep one. Hybrid. Okay, so go into the zoom camera. We've got our deep one hybrid. So his observation is 3. His terror level, I believe, is 1. And his physicality is 2 for pushing purposes. At first glance, he seems to be a human being, but the creature conceals a corrupt secret within its blood. Okay, so we've got a deep one hybrid. And yeah, his little figure here. He's holding what looks like a billy club or a spiked stick. And granted, he won't really stand up, but perhaps he can be seen more easily from laying down anyway, relative to the 3D-ness of the model. Let's see. Yeah, that's not particularly much better, so I will leave it like this. Okay, he has been spawned. The local clutches his face and you notice blood streaming from his nose and forehead. The Deep One hybrid suffers damage equal to your test result. Okay, well that was 3. He's got a total of 6, so he's already been hit by that. And I can move 1 space into the interior hall. So the Explorer got me into that space already with him. Okay, and now I can attack him with my lead pipe, the heavy weapon. Okay. So let's see, I need to click on the tray, the deep one, attack with a heavy weapon. Okay. You swing at a powerful downward angle, attempting to crush your foe. Strength check of 2. If you pass, the weight of the weapon drives into the figure with an audible crack. The monster suffers damage equal to the damage plus your test result. Oh, the weapon's damage plus the test result. If you fail, the figure sidesteps the swing and you suffer 1 face down damage. Okay, so we need to get at least a 2. But this is strength again, or best stat. So we're gonna roll all 5 dice again. Let me get those star spawn out of the way. Okay, let's go. This time we have 2 successes and then the rest are blanks. So we did pass, and suffers damage equal to the weapon's damage plus the test result. The weapon's damage for the lead pipe is 1. So 1 plus 2, we've done 3 damage. Aurora is standing on the board again. Hello, baby. Okay. Are you sure you want to discard this monster? Yes. Your attacker collapses onto the floor. As he falls, something clatters from his stubby, webbed fingers. Place the cult sigil unique item in... Oh, she knocked over Rita. In the Deep One hybrid space. Okay, we're looking for a unique item and the cultist sigil. So we've already got something. Cult sigil unique item. Yay. Yeah, we got that Deep One hybrid. Good. And the sigil. Okay. This is an evidence, and evidence key. This token serves as proof of membership for a cult. And I guess it's in Rita's space. I forget if she can automatically pick it up or not. Well, I'll just put it in that space for now. And he's gone. And that is there. Okay. Okay, so just checking the rules for these things. It did say to put that sigil into the space where the Deep One was in. So he dropped it on the floor, so we don't automatically take it into our possession. And in order to pick things up off of the floor, it's actually the trade action, where you can swap any number of items with other investigators in your space, but also you may pick up or drop any number of the tradable things that you have in your space as well. So it is an action to pick up anything that has simply been dropped into this space. Okay. So now that Rita has finished with what she was doing in that room, we have Sinclair. And Sinclair, we wanted to have search for whatever might be hidden outside that window. Perhaps it will give us foreknowledge of what is coming. I assume some kind of angry mob is on the way. And then I think I can have him, if he moves out to where the sigil is, then either of the characters can just do one trade action. I can get the journal over to him to start researching, and we can also pick up the cult sigil that got dropped in that space. So, first up, we are going to have Sinclair, his first of 2 actions. He is going to investigate. Okay. You struggle to see through the dense fog, but you believe you see a small fishing boat out in the bay. As long as the captain of that boat is not in league with the locals, that could be your ticket out of this town. You will need to find a way to contact the boat. Gain 1 clue, then discard this search token. Okay, so Sinclair got a clue. And I need to double check, make sure that it did say that that cost an action to do. Yep, confirmed. Double checked in the app. It did have a marker that it takes an action to do that search. So that was Sinclair's first action. And he can move 2 spaces per move. I suppose he... Oh yeah, it does say that that should have an Explore token on it. So if he did have both actions available, he could do a move for 2 spaces. He could move into the first space, do the trade action, get everything sort of sorted out, and then end up over there, which would be a good idea. But because he only has the movement left, let's see, and he doesn't have the journal in his possession, so I can't simply start with that. So I'm just going to move him into the space with the cult sigil and Rita will be doing some investigating next turn. She'll probably be starting it off. But that's going to end our first investigator phase, because they each got their 2 actions. So, hey Aurora, what's going on? Stay down there this time, please. Okay. I think I've convinced her to sit back down. Let's end the investigator phase. Mythos. Silence reigns, complete enveloping silence. No immediate effect. Probably because we dealt with the guy who was trying to bash in our door right away. Haha. I guess that bought us a little bit of time. So this time, I think I'm going to have Sinclair go first, and we are going to start with that trade action, so they can rearrange the items however they want, as well as picking up the cult sigil from the space that they're on. Now, this says evidence and key. I guess that's something I want to have with Rita, because she's the most likely to be overextended in a position where she might need to pretend she's in the cult if she's gone out ahead or something. And I want to give the old journal to Sinclair because he's got the lore and observation, where if there's some kind of clue to be gained from that journal, I think he's more likely to discover it. The actual order doesn't matter. I'm probably going to have to move all of this. I'm assuming this is going to be a really big map before the end of this. And I'll have to push all this off the screen. Okay, so he's done his trade action, and now he has the journal. Here she goes again. Just sit down, baby. Okay, we are going to investigate the journal. How do I investigate the journal? Oh, hey, it's given us a bit of information about the objective. The locals have grown aggressive. If you could contact the fishing boat in the bay, you might be able to make your escape. Now, I don't know if it was going to tell us anything about the fishing boat before Sinclair looked out the window, but our objective is to reach the fishing boat to escape Innsmouth. Makes perfect sense. You coming back up on my lap again? Oh, maybe that's our inventory? There we go. Okay. Okay. You have tracked all of the evidence you have managed to gather on the Marsh family. You can compile the evidence you have found to see how close you are to proving your suspicions. If you find enough evidence, you might even be able to solve the mystery here and now. Okay, in that case, because this is stuff I should have been able to know. I'm going to have that cult sigil be over with Sinclair. I want him to have as much evidence as possible. So he's going to have the old journal as well as the cult sigil, and Aurora's back up on the on the table again. Oh, baby, please sit down somewhere. Over here, over there. Yeah, good girl. Go sit down over there by all the monsters. That's it. I'm trying to teach her which spaces are at least out of the way if she wants to be on the table. And that's a good spot, way over there. Good girl. So, Sinclair has the cult sigil because that is evidence. And it seems like evidence is something we should know about. And we just did the trade action. I'm okay with that. So, compile the evidence you've found. If you have enough evidence, you might even be able to solve the mystery here and now. Let's compile some evidence. Okay, you still have a long way to go if you plan to accuse the Marsh family of some malfeasance. You need multiple more pieces of evidence. Okay, so that didn't even take an action to do. It's straight up telling me I do not have enough. Okay, so at least that didn't take Sinclair's action away. But now, yeah, what are we going to do? So notably, there isn't an explore token, but I imagine the second we set foot outside, we're going to get more information in all of these directions that we could go, as well as probably enemies who are going to start attacking us and making us do horror checks. So, Sinclair can go. He can also order Rita to move. Well, it's not so much that he's ordering. I've played too much Imperial Assault, and I'm thinking about Gideon issuing orders to everybody. No. Another investigator within range may perform one action once per round. He can do that. So what he can do is he can order Rita to perform her moves. And let's see. So if he ordered Rita to move... Like, I'm thinking about interleaving moves with the explore action, because on Rita's turn, she could move, she could explore, maybe get into that room, and then use her remaining move actions to get back out again. But Sinclair needs to do his thing now. He has to finish his turn before Rita can begin her turn. And everything is like an odd number of things away. I think I'm just going to have Sinclair move into that room, because that should just be sort of a dead end. If there's anything in there, I'm not expecting a fight, I'm expecting investigation. There's going to be some kind of evidence in that room that might help us. And if I need it, Rita can come in and back him up. So, oh right, but I can move, but he doesn't have the action to do and explore at the same time, because he started by doing the trade action. So, I can't have him do the explore. But I guess this is a time where I just have him order Rita to move. So what I can do there is I can have Rita go 1, 2, 3. Like, basically have her explore the outside and then come back into safety. And then, because she'll be in that tile, she can just start her turn by exploring. At the very least, I want Rita in that spot, but because she moves 3 spaces, I can have her pop out of the door, see what's going on out there, and then pop back inside. And I'm not sure if we can, like, barricade at any point. If we need to have, like, I think there has to be a barricade token that you move in front of the door. We can't just conjure a barricade out of nowhere. Although it said we could barricade that door basically out of nowhere. It was one of the options. But I guess it has to be something you can interact with on the app to make a barricade. We cannot just barricade at will. Double check that. Yeah, there is no barricade action. Barricades are just the result of some kind of interact you've done with the board. So, Sinclair's second action will be to use his special unique ability on his card to give another investigator an extra action. So that means Rita is going to be able to do a move action, so moves 1 and 2. And as soon as she gets out there, she can see line of sight all of these. So an alley off the street curves around the building. An investigator in Street 2 may reveal the adjacent area. She is on Street 2. So let's add some more map. Ooh, there's a lot of alley down there. You peer down a dark alley to the west of the building. Hey, we do have our cardinal directions at least. We just left the south side, and that's over to the west. So we need alley corner 2 and alley 2, and discard all explore and site tokens leading into the area. So that's also going to get rid of this explore token, because that door leads out into this alley. Okay, I'm going to grab those and be right back. Okay, so here we go. Looks like the barrel that has some fire in it appears to be on that side. And then, let's see. Yep, the little light over the alley is over there. So it appears that there is more building up there. Okay, so time to start sliding all of these things forward a little bit. Yeah, like I said, I'm expecting a big map. Let's see. It won't let me move things around. Well, it's going to give me a lot more things here. So you notice a stack of several crates. Place a search token as indicated. So it's on the crate next to the little fire barrel. One door leads to the building in the adjacent block. Place an explorer token as indicated. I'm going to need more tokens. Another door leads to a room behind the hotel. Place an explorer token as indicated. I'm just going to empty out that bag. I'm going to need them all. Okay, explore token. The other side of the alley opens into a pier. Well, we're trying to reach the docks, so that may be where we want to go. Place a site token as indicated. Okay, that's all they gave us. Well, that's not exactly nothing. So we've got several things that we can look at outside there. Yeah, one thing I did notice is it didn't give us anything to like block this off. But there's no explore token, so I'm going to take that as meaning that this is just a dead end, a uninteresting door, as opposed to this door, which for whatever reason is interesting. And as I learned last time, you can at least read the thing you get from clicking on them without doing the explore. So this just says there's several crates, you can't get any more information without actually searching. The weather-warped door leads to a dark and apparently disused building, perhaps somewhere we could hide or barricade. This door leads into a small room behind the hotel. The room is without windows or lights, and you strain your eyes to see inside. You can explore only if you have a light source, with which Rita has. She has the oil lamp. And this one, it'll just tell us how far away we can see it. You have to be in alley 2, which means you have to be on this square to see any further out. So just moving onto this isn't enough to reveal that. Okay, that's good to know, but we have more things we can reveal, I think. So the road stretches up the hill into the center of town. An investigator in Street 2 may reveal this area, and Rita is currently on Street 2. Street 2 being the entire tile. So what's this way? Well, looking up the hill, you can see the shapes of dozens of different figures shambling through the streets towards you. As you watch, you get the uneasy feeling that they are all coming for you. Suffer one face-down horror. Heading into town will not be safe. You'll have to find a different way out of town. Gain 2 clues, then discard this site token. Okay, that's good to know. So there'll be nothing in that direction for us. And I can push all of these things down a little bit. But yeah, also gain 2 clues. So Rita has 4 clues, Sinclair has 3. We're doing great on clues at the moment. And we know that this was heading towards a pier up here. Okay, and discard that site token. So we know we're heading that way. And that there is a mob of dozens plural, more than we can fight. Right, and we take 1 face-down horror. So damage is the red ones, and horror is the blue ones. And we definitely got a few more of those that I had to shuffle in from the expansions. And this is just going to be a face-down one, so just 1 off the top goes to Rita. And Sanity is her less strong trait, unfortunately. So that's a bit of an issue. If she gets 4 more of those, she can go insane pretty fast. Let's see. That direction makes much more sense. Now it looks like a a skull with the brain on it. Flip those around. Okay, so she has taken a face-down horror. Okay, then discard this sight token. Okay, we're not going that way. And the street continues to the east, past a storefront. Investigator in... Yep, she's in Street 2. What's this way? Next to the hotel sits a small store with a sign that reads, Henderson's Oddities. Place the storefront tile as indicated and discard any sight tokens leading to the front street. Okay. So what do we have in here? We've got the storefront tile. Is this simply one tile that has both of those things in it? I should pause, but there's not that far to get to. Let's see, it does say storefront. Okay, I'm going to search for these tiles. Be right back. Okay, I found it. It is, in fact, one tile, one big tile that has the front street on it and its own little entryway there. Okay. And yep, that is called Front Street, and the inside is called Storefront. Let's continue. The store is dark inside, but you think you might see movement through the window in the door. Place an Explore token as indicated. So we can go inside over there. Oh, there's even more street. Outside the store, an alley leading off the street wraps around the building. Place a Sight token as indicated. Done and done. So, do I have to be on Front Street to see that? Yep, you have to be on Front Street to reveal the next adjacent area. This definitely feels like a mission you could play multiple times, if only because there's so many different directions you could try to go. And let's see what info we can get about that. You try the door, but the store is closed and the door is locked. After a moment, you hear a voice from the other side say, password. You can check the Cult Sigil unique item for a password if you have it. Interesting. Naturally, I gave that over to Sinclair, so Rita doesn't have it. But, okay. So, notably, that is probably not our friend who is in there, but also I'm spying that there's a door in the back of that tile, and there's another door... Oh, the Explore token fell off when I slid everything forward. So there's probably a way into the back, like the hotel's side room and a shared lavatory was supposed to be over there. So I don't think we need to force our way into that building at all. Like, it seems like we've got a very straight, direct shot out going down this west alley. So we probably want to go that way. Now, let's see. Rita does have one more movement. This has all been on the action that Sinclair gave to her. She started moving from there, so 1, 2, and Rita's special ability is she gets 3 for every movement. So she could move back into that space as her last movement. I could move her 1 further over to there, and on her turn she could, like, explore that, maybe try to go in, but she doesn't have the sigil. Or I can go back there and have her, like, explore that room. Because, remember, our primary goal was an investigation into this Marsh family. And I wonder if, like, all of these other places we can search might give us more evidence. So far I've gotten 2 pieces of evidence, but it says you will need many more pieces of evidence. So I'm hesitant to simply, like, skip those things and just go straight for the exit. And yeah, those 2 spaces are connected by a doorway, so it is just as fast to put her back inside the hotel for the last action. So that's Sinclair's turn is now done. Rita's turn is going to begin, and she's going to explore into that second room. The door to the hotel room adjacent to yours is marked number 2. It is probably locked. Oh, okay, it's not even going to let me try to open that one. Okay, if I look at this one... So yeah, it's an action to explore in that way. So I guess I'm going to have to find a key before I can even try to open that door, which is very intriguing. I wonder if that is really just a indication that, yeah, there's another room. It's locked, you don't need to go in there. There's nothing. That could entirely just be one big red herring, and it's just there to like take up space because we're using this tile that has 2 rooms on it. So there's a room number 2, and maybe we don't even care about it. And there's nothing in there whatsoever. I'm telling to the sleeping cat. His toes you can just barely see. Okay. Well, that doesn't change where Rita was going to go. She still went back there. My only question now is, do I want to explore further into the hotel on the next turn? Or do I want to start going down that street? Sinclair, for our purposes, is... Wait, I don't need to use that. He's 2 spaces away from that, so his next turn he can simply move there and investigate with his excellent eyesight. So I can have Sinclair sort of bringing up the rear as we go along. And so Rita, with her movement of 3, she can get all the way to there, in which case she can reveal the next tile, and she can start exploring the room that has... it's dark, so only she can really explore that at this moment. And I can have Sinclair sort of go in there, check out the next thing, and sort of bring up the rear, in essence. So Rita's turn begins, and she's going to move 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she's going to be way ahead of him. But now that she is all the way up there, she is on alley number 2, and she can reveal this after 1 movement. Okay, what do we have? Waves lap against the shore as you look out behind the building. Place the pier tile as indicated and discard all explore and sight tokens leading to it. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for another new tile here. Pause, be right back. Okay, here we go. So there's a little thing called the Snack Shack that's on one side of the pier. We've got all those dotted lines, which dotted lines don't block movement. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the... because you see there's that sort of gray line around the edge there, and that gray line basically matches up with exactly the size of that thing, but the game board has it lined up, on the square grid. But I believe that's meant to indicate that you have to move on to this portion of the tile. And everything needs to slide down just a little bit further. There's currently nothing off the end, off the end of that. But as that's not building, it might put more things over onto that as we go. Okay. But back into the app. What do you have to tell us about this? A number of crates and barrels are grouped together. Place a search token as indicated. Okay. And then a waterlogged boat rots low in the water off the pier. Place a search token as indicated. Okay, plenty to search out here. Hopefully we'll get lots of evidence out of it. And what's next? Oh, the shack. A snack stand sits on the pier. It has been hastily closed up. Place 1 more search token as indicated. Okay. Oh, and another one. The pier ends in a sandy beach. Place a sight token as indicated. Okay, so I assume you have to be on the pier to get the next one. Yeah, the waves wrestle as they break upon the beach. Yeah, you must be on the pier to reveal that. So hey, we've got, I guess that's technically its own space inside, because it's got the whole ... and it's got a door? I wonder, do I have, maybe it'll tell me if I click on it. You notice a locked cabinet under the counter. The padlock is old but sturdy. You'll need a key to unlock it. Maybe the key's in the boat. Remember, we can click on it at least for free. Okay, you can search it for an action, and the crates, I'm assuming, is the same. Yeah, we can search for an action. Any one of those could have the key to the snack shack. But what we wanted to have Rita do because she has the light from the oil lamp, she will explore this for us. Okay, you can explore only if you have a light source. We do. And what do we have? You hold your light high to illuminate the room. Shelves of books that have collected years of dust line the walls. Place the library tile as indicated and discard any explore tokens leading to it. Then place darkness in each space of the library. Okay. So these darkness indicators, I need to find the library first. Actually, it's right on the top of my stack of tiles. So, let's see, is that the way? I think that is the way. This is the way. Okay. So we place that there, and darkness prevents you from doing specific things unless you have the oil lamp. And I'll just hit the rules reference for this one real quick, just so that we don't make any mistakes. Basically, the light source allows you to ignore darkness, but what darkness does if you don't have the lamp... Okay, an investigator in a space containing darkness cannot spend clues. Let's see, you ignore spaces or darkness in a space containing a light source, or adjacent to a space with light or fire. Yep, and darkness cannot be placed in somewhere that already contains darkness. Okay, so basically the darkness prevents you from spending clues or performing puzzle steps. So a bit of a hindrance, but we ignore it because we have the light source. What else do you have for us? Your eyes scan across shelf after shelf of books. Many of them appear to be about the history of Innsmouth and the surrounding area. Perhaps you could uncover information on the Marsh family. Place a search token as indicated. Excellent, excellent. And the room's other door leads back outside. Place an explore token as indicated. We have so many things to do and so few people to do them with. Okay, and you may move one space into the explored area. So the explore action is going to take us in, and we can only attempt to discern the value of those books when there's a light source in there with us. Now that was Rita's entire turn. She did a movement of 3, and then an explore action. So that's both of her actions. I'm going to slide this down just a little bit more, just so you can see the red indicating there's no more level in that direction. Okay. That's going to end our investigator phase. Yes. What do we have? Mythos. A low song just beyond the edge of hearing, but then how could we hear it? Wafts through the air. This Mythos event affects the investigator who has the most items. Well, Sinclair does have 3 spells, but he still has the most items, because he's got both of the unique items, so this is going to affect Sinclair. Your palms become clammy and your pulse races. A wave of powerful ruinous greed runs through you. So this is a will test. Difficulty 1. If you pass, you master yourself until the feeling passes. If you fail, you're revolted by your own avarice and hurl some of your items away from you. Drop 1 random item. That'd be funny if he had to discard his fine clothes. Okay, so we are doing a will test. His will is 3, and he's got a bunch of clues. So I just need one pass, 1 success. Oops. Well, I got 2 successes, and the last one was outside the die roller. Okay, 3 successes on that one, so he easily passed. But yeah, the imagination of Sinclair having to hurl away all of his fine clothes makes me giggle. Uh-oh, you hear the sound of approaching voices outside the hotel. A small mob of shambling locals is beginning to gather. They shout words of some indecipherable language at the hotel. Something tells you they are here for you. Spawn a riot as indicated. This is the Innsmouth mob. It does not activate this round. Okay. So is one of these things clearly a mob of people as opposed to just one? Well, you know what? I'll find this and be right back. Okay, I found the riot and their little card here. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's nice. So they have a perception of 7. Their threat rating is 4. They are much more intimidating than the single hybrid Deep One was. They have a physicality of 4. And ordinary people in large numbers can be extremely dangerous. Unfortunately, they are usually dangerous to one another. Okay, so we've got the riot, and I found a bunch of little figures here that have different, like, axes and things, so they're going to be sitting basically right next to and on top of their tile. So the riot have appeared in the street just outside. Now, if it's only this one group of people that's going side to side, maybe I can run them around in a little circle or something. But yeah, now we definitely have a threat to watch out for. And so this is the mob. It does not activate this round. More people from the town continue to join the ever-growing mob. Fighting so many people will prove difficult. You had better evade them. Now, I do have, like, the shriveling. I can just keep hitting them with spells from a distance, maybe? Okay. Now, each investigator must resolve a horror check against the monster within range with the highest horror rating. Okay. So in this case, because the door basically blocks range here, so even though we are technically within a range of 3, it is not a... the door blocks the line of sight here. Now, in this game, like, there is no line of sight per se. It's really just within 3 spaces, but doors will block it. Okay. So yeah, we've got doors there, mysterious hidden things there. But now it is time for us to get Sinclair further away from the mob. But we are safe from horror checks this round. Okay. Tap the end phase button to continue. So, no horror this time. End the mythos phase? Yes. So we've got the mob. We can at least look at them. Oh, they have 60 hit points. Now, I imagine there would be a prestige run of, can I knock off all 60 hit points before they kill me? But I would want to try that when I have more than 2 investigators, I think. But you could certainly try it. But that's pretty foolish to try. Okay. It's back to our turn again. And I think we have found the outer edge, because there were no sight lines over there. So I imagine we've got basically like this 3-wide sort of square. So I can probably slide this stuff a little bit over to the left as well. Because I imagine we've got the same thing on the other side, an alley going up around. Outside? Okay. Yeah. So hopefully I won't need to shuffle things around anymore after this. Okay. So now, what are we going to do for this time? We've got Rita, who wants to search. She's in what seems to be the best spot to get more information towards our mission of finding out about the Marsh family. Sinclair definitely needs to get out of there. And notably, his giving someone else extra actions only works within range. Now, I don't know how fast that mob is going to move. If the mob moves 2, I'll be safe from it. Like, I'm thinking of if I have him try to search those crates. But I don't think I'm willing to let him stop that close, because he only moves 2. Maybe I could move him 2 and then have him try to enter that building, but I feel like with everything else that's, that's like the edge of the board, this feels like a red herring, like it's a disused, dark building. I would be surprised, but not completely out of the realm of possibility if, like, it didn't allow anything to actually show up there. I'm pretty sure that is a room you're never supposed to enter. I have no idea if, like, this is a different way out. I'm a bit hesitant to completely split the party. That would certainly render his other abilities pretty useless in terms of being able to give actions. Like if I wanted him to go through this building. I mean, at one point we had the ability to barricade the door, but that ability is now gone, unfortunately. It'd be nice if I could close the door again, but I guess I busted it off the hinges from the inside, so story-wise, we're going to say that's why I can't just barricade that and then slip out the back. And that means Sinclair must go this way. So first action gets me to there. Now I am within horror check range. So Sinclair is the one I really want to end up with all of the evidence because he's collecting the journal and the cult sigil and all those things. Ugh. So do we have him explore, or do we have him continue to run and maybe search the things that are up there? I imagine with a mob, it should move slowly, but as long as I keep him away from that mob, because the mob has a horror rating of 4, so they're probably pretty horrifying, much more so than, yeah, the one hybrid guy was just a single point. So I'm going to ignore both of those and just have Sinclair keep moving up, and I feel bad about it, but I am keeping him safe. I'm playing defensively. So Sinclair, 2 actions, they were both moves. Now Rita is in the building with the light source, and we'll find out what kind of check it makes. So maybe next turn we can have Sinclair join her in the building if he's significantly better at those checks, and if not, well, I mean, she's in there with the light source right now. We're going to have her try it. So she is going to search. Oh, hey, some little bit of new text here. The pages of these books seem stiff and they smell of salt, as if they have all been soaked in seawater at some point in the past. You find a number of books concerning lineages of important Innsmouth families. Okay, in the pages of a book on the Marsh family, you find a torn up piece of paper. You attempt to piece it back together. Okay, this is a puzzle using observation. Okay, Rita's observation is 3, and Sinclair's observation is 5. Okay, let's look at this puzzle. So it says moves. I'm pretty sure these are swaps, and it's probably a left to right kind of a swap. So it's pretty clear that these are like wanted poster things. And it looks like this coffee pot is on the far side because this is like the left side of the poster board. So I'm pretty sure my first swap is pretty safe if I just make it that. Now I think this needs to get over to here because of the angle that that picture is at. Appears to line up with this one. So I'm guessing I need to swap this one all the way over to there. I look at other things like just going off of the strings that we've got going on, it looks like this one needs to end up to the left of that one, but also on the lower level, because this very white piece of notepad appears to be the bottom of that one. But oddly enough, I can't find, like, the right side that would go along with it. So I've got a little bit of a puzzle here. I'm pretty sure this is the bottom, because there's nothing that connects with that. The what's the right word? Like that little newspaper clipping that's much whiter than the yellow of the little wanted posters. Like there's no okay. There's a bottom piece. So this piece goes directly underneath that piece. And it looks like this piece needs to be to the left. No, sorry. This middle piece has to be to the left of that piece. Oh, here comes Aurora again. Hello. Oh, you can't see her this time. I'm too concentrated on something, so she has to go interrupt me. So at least we've done one move. I'm very confident of that much. What else needs to go into that spot? Because, yeah, that sort of microwave or whatever it is that the coffee pot's on top of, that looks like that lines up. It's mostly like it lines up. It's not a perfect fit, though. I wonder if I've got those two reversed. Yeah, you know what? I think those are reversed. I've been trying to figure out where the heck the bottom of this white piece would go. Oh, no, Aurora, don't sit there. But I think actually that Those are reversed, and that's why I can't find the bottom of this particular piece. That would make these things line up a little bit better, because that way, if I sort of swap which ones are the top and which ones are the bottom, then this can be in the upper left corner next to this one. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit of a trick when they put that one in front of you like that. But the fact that that paper isn't there means that these have to swap. And now those line up a lot better, because you can see just the shadow of that. Okay, so we get one more move in the puzzle during this attempt, although we'll get to do another, she'll get another action of, no, kitty, stop pushing the tiles. So we'll at least get 4 more during her attempt on this round. But now we can try to adjust this stuff around. Yeah, I can't find anything that swaps with this properly with this F over here, which has me worried that this may be the far right side, which would totally suck. This has to be his shoulder, so I need to get that all the way over. But what's the best way to do this? Okay, I think this needs to go 1 over to the left, because that's like flip him, I think is what that's trying, oh, find him, I think is what that's trying to say. So that should put that into the correct spot. I think this one needs to go into the top right corner. This is going to be in the middle bottom. And this is probably the middle top. So the question is just how to do this in the fewest flips possible. I'm going to mess around, meaning theorize a bit. You can check by the moves that I'm not cheating off screen, but I'm going to pause this and think about it for a little bit. Okay, so after looking at this a bit more, I'm pretty sure this piece needs to go in the top corner over there. This one needs to go over to there. This one needs to go there. This one needs to go there. That one needs to go there. And this one should be the bottom right corner. But as to how to do this with the least number of flips, I believe if I swap these two, those two, and then it's going to be like 3 or... It's not going to be done in this turn. Probably Sinclair's first attempt next round will be able to solve it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this one's going to go over to the left. Biggest trouble is getting this one from the bottom all the way up to there, and I think I'm just going to have to flip and then flip things back. No real way around that. So this is going to be my last one for this round. So that's my first set of 3 moves. And now we're going to do Rita's second. Yes, he is still not reassembled, so this is her second action. Okay, she gets 3 more. So if I swap this top and that bottom will be in the right spot. If I swap that one as well, like those two are in the right relative to each other. So if I swap top and bottom, then it's just a matter of getting this top section back into the right spot relative to each other. So I'm going to swap the top and the bottom. And then, yeah, that's the one that needs to go there. So top and bottom. And then I just need to swap this piece and this piece. And unfortunately, that's going to take a few swaps to do. Because it's like, it's going to take 2 to get that one into the right spot, and then 1 more to swap them back. So actually, I mean, if I do that right now, so it'll be 1 and then 2. So Rita can solve this on her first action next turn. I don't even need to bring Sinclair into this. At least as far as I can see. Because now at this point, I just need to finish moving that one over, and then it'll be 1 swap to get them into the right spots. At least as I have drawn it up. So that's going to end Rita's turn here. Okay. So, as the recap, Aurora decided to lay down, and she's just in the right spot, too. That she really wants to push that piece over. Okay, how about that? Just stay comfy there, and it'll all work out. Okay. So, Sinclair just double moved this turn, and Rita spent her entire turn starting to solve a puzzle. But puzzles are good. Puzzles probably give me very useful things at the end. But that is going to end this investigator phase. So, what's it going to send at us next? Somewhere above, someone dumps garbage out the window. This Mythos event affects the investigator in an alley or street with the lowest influence. Well, he's doing it again. Baby, stop doing that. Oh dear. So yeah, there's only one person who's in an alley, and unfortunately, that is Sinclair in his fine clothes. Poor Sinclair in his fine clothes. He's going to get trash dumped on him. And it's the one with the lowest influence. But even though he's got influence of 5 with the fine clothes, whoops. Okay, the debris showers down around you, pelting your limbs in the ground. Suffer 2 face-down damage. Agility negates, then flip 1 face up. His agility is 2. This stinks for him. Poor Sinclair. Okay, let's hope for 2 successes, or at least magnifying glasses. Oh, so I got 1 success and 1 magnifying glass. I can spend a clue to upgrade that, which Sinclair absolutely would do to protect his clothes. So he actually did manage to negate both, and he has no face-down damage to flip up. So it did cost us a clue, but I'm sure Sinclair will agree that it was absolutely worth it. Okay. Anything else? Okay, the Innsmouth mob moves 2 spaces toward alley corner 2, which is this one. The locals' wet, unblinking eyes are ever watchful for the intruders. Each investigator who shared a space with the mob during this movement suffers 1 face-down damage, becomes stunned, and moves to the mob's space. So they basically pick you up and move you with them. So they move 2 spaces towards the alley corner 2, so they have to be in that space now. Okay, so they never would have reached Sinclair if he was there, and he's going to be in range for a horror check after this. And yeah, stun sucks. Stun means you only get 1 action during your turn, and that means they can just keep catching up to you. I wonder if they're just going to stay out in the alley, though, because no matter where we had gone, like, the game, the app doesn't actually know where we're standing other than Rita started, or somebody started interacting with that library. But if we had sent, like, Sinclair over to here, the mob could have been going the wrong direction this entire time. I don't know if this is random or what, but this is intriguing. But the mob did not harm anybody this time. Okay, the Innsmouth mob attacks the investigator in its space with the highest health. No investigators in the space. Shouting and croaking, you hear some members of the mob break away from the main body. Spawn a Deep 1 hybrid in the mob's space. Well, I've still got the Deep 1 hybrid that I had off to the side before, so he is now spawned. The Deep 1 hybrid moves 2 spaces toward the nearest investigator. Then it attacks the investigator in its space with the highest agility. So he gets to just move 2. You're doing it again, kitty. Come on. There, I rotated the kitty so her paws are no longer constantly pushing my map around. Okay, so there's still no investigators in that space, but I guess Sinclair is going to get some spell attacks next turn. Okay, now resolve a horror check against the monster within range with the highest horror rating. So even though this Deep 1 hybrid is closer, the highest horror rating is actually the riot. The mob. Okay, so we resolve a horror check against the mob. The riot stops and reenacts a recent cruelty. One of them plays the part of the crying victim, while the others brutalize him. After a moment, their performance grows overzealous and the genuine cries of pain ring into the air. Suffer 2 horror. Will -1 negates. So Sinclair's will is 3, so he gets to roll only 2 dice. And so he needs all successes. Well, I got 2 successes on that, so he negated both horror. Okay, getting lucky on the rolls so far. And that was it. So the mob, oh, did that damage the mob? No, I don't want to resolve horror check. I just want to check itself. It'd be nice if the mob hurt itself. It's said that the mob wants to do that, but no damage on there. And yeah, the hybrid has 6 health. That's a lot of health. Okay. There we go. That closes the gym. So we've got one hybrid has split off from the riot to attack us. Well, let's have Rita start because she can... Well, she can just start and finish that puzzle and then go around, just run off to the docks. So Rita goes first. Let's finish this torn paper. Okay. So this one I wanted to get over to the far side. There, that feels like it lines up decently. And then these two. Was it those two? Yep. Okay. She still had a move left. Puzzle completed. Pieced together, the paper reveals the several members of the Marsh family have one or the other parent listed only as from the sea. Gain the missing link unique item and one clue, then discard this search token. Okay. You know what? I think you can discard clues to get additional puzzle moves. I should have done that last turn. Then she wouldn't have had to spend an action on this one. Okay, so missing link. There we go, missing link, and it's exactly that picture. How about it? Yep, no joke, it's exactly the picture from the puzzle we just did. Oh, it doesn't want to... There we go. There's the focus. Everything falls into place now. Okay. And Rita has that, so that's evidence with the wrong person, but we've got a third evidence here. And discard that search token. Okay. Let's see, what else can we do? I really just want to have her move out. Like, because that's going to take an explore, like an explore action to go through, whereas she can just run and get to this from the outside, and then I can just reveal it and not have to, like, spend time going through a door. It's faster for her to go around. So now she is on the outside of the snack shack. And she's on the pier, so she can reveal. What do we have? The beach extends across the entire back of the hotel between the two piers. Its sandy monotony disrupted only by a forlorn shack. Place the beach tile as indicated and discard any explorer or sightline token leading to it. Fewer tiles, you'd think it would go faster to find the thing. Nope, that is a different old shack with a boat on it. There's the right one. But that's a moldy shack next to the beach. Okay. Yeah, I wonder how from there you saw Sinclair saw out the window to the boat. Maybe that's supposed to be like on a second floor kind of a thing, and it just was playing with us a little bit in terms of scale. Okay. So, yep. Now that door opens directly out onto the beach. What's new? An old rowboat sits on the beach. Place a search token as indicated. And on the beach, a shack sits just above the strand line. Place an explore token as indicated. Oh, and more beach. On the far side of the beach, you see a dock holding a boat rental building. Place a site token as indicated. That is probably our escape. Okay, but Rita has done both of her moves. A puzzle action and then a move. So that's going to end her turn. Let me double check that whole puzzle clue thing. Yep, during a puzzle step, you can spend any number of clues to get one additional puzzle step for each clue spent. So, forgot about that. Could have had one extra action or just finished that puzzle last turn if I was paying a little bit more closer attention. So Sinclair is beset by these deep ones. How is he going to get out of here? Now Sinclair could move over to where Rita is and then still use the shriveling spell against the deep one from range. It says that it's a range thing with spell damage of 3 plus whatever I get on the check itself. It might be enough to one-shot that enemy. Bit of a tough test there. But yeah, that gives me a little bit of space from the mob. But again, with where Rita is, if the mob moves 2 again, she'll be within 3 spaces and fully outside with the mob. So that's a bit of a annoyance there. Let's see. Sinclair could, like if he ducked inside the building with his second move, he would not be in range because the doorway would block it. Block the deep one from getting to him. And like use the doors to your advantage, basically. Ooh. Yeah, a bit of a tough thing there. What's going to be... we're going to use the spell. So something I decided about how to do the spells going forward, like you're supposed to randomly deal one of the cards, so you have 1 copy of the card, and then like you cast it and you flip it over and find out what it is. Instead of doing it that way, what I'm going to do is I've got a 10-sided die, and I'm just going to roll that die and, divide it by 2, rounding down. So, like 1 or 2 would be the first card, 3 or 4 would be the second card, and so forth. That way I don't have to worry about, like, doing any card shuffling. I'm just going to cast Shriveling and then roll the die to see which of these copies I get. It's exactly as random as it would have been, and works fine with the way I like to play these. So, which copy of Shriveling are we going to cast? It is number 7, which means that is our 4th. I guess that's rounding up, not rounding down. Yeah, because 7 or 8 is the 4th of our 5 cards. So, which of those have we cast? Well, Shriveling. So first off, I need to roll my actual attack here, because there's roll stuff that will be in there, but this is the copy I have for the purpose of this attack. So we are attacking with a spell. Okay. You race through the incantation and the arcane gestures, putting your own improvised spin on the magic words. Lower +1. The monster suffers damage equal to your test result. Then flip the spell you attacked with. Interesting, so maybe the 3 doesn't matter there. So his lore is 4, and if he's rolling his lore +1, that means he's rolling all 5 dice, and he suffers that much damage. There we go. So we have 2 hits, and I could spend both of my remaining clues to make this 4 damage. That is a lot, but I mean, yeah. And then flip the spell you attacked with, so spend both of his clues. That's what you got him for. So that's 4 damage. Okay, then flip the spell you attacked with. So this Shriveling, what's on the back? The spell works exactly as you expect, aside from all the blood. No additional effect. Then discard this card and gain an additional Shriveling spell. So that's the first card in my list, and we'll see what happens the next time we cast it. That way I don't have to try to randomize these things. Okay. So, that's it. We've dealt 4 damage to him. I could do it again, and just try to kill that one. The mob is going to get closer, and we'll have to resolve some horror checks. The deep one, assuming it spawns a deep one every turn, the next one will catch up to me, which is a bit unfortunate. Or I could move Sinclair up so that he's ready to search and then continue running on the next turn. I feel like next turn Rita's going to be doing 2 search actions as long as we stay in front of the mob. The mob of dozens is the most dangerous. We're just going to move forward 1 space. I can expect the hybrid to reach us, which will suck. maybe I really just want to move him forward both spaces, and we're going to skip the crates. Sorry, crates in the alley. If I had more investigators, maybe we could investigate all these additional things, but not with the 2 people I've got. Maybe that's just sort of a drawback of playing solo, is you don't have enough actions to investigate all of this stuff. If I had 5 people, 2 of them probably would have gone through that building, and we'd be finding out about all the other stuff. Oh well. So he attacked and he moved 2. He's caught up with Rita. Suppose I could do a raid and she'll end up with all the evidence, or he'll end up with all the evidence again. But that's gonna do it for this round. Yep, ending the investigator phase. Mythos. A loose, fluttering page covered in barely legible text catches Rita Young's eye. Unable to resist, she reads. Rita Young suffers 2 face-down horror. Lore negates. Then she flips 1 horror face up. Well, she does already have a horror from earlier, and that is the worst thing for her, so it's just hitting her weak point. Okay, so lore negates. She has a lore of 3. And this is 2 that I need to engage. She does have all of her clues still. Okay, I got 1 success, but the other ones I can't do anything about. So she suffers 1 face-down horror. And now, when you flip face up, it's a random one. So again, I'm just going to go with one of the other dice, and we'll just have it be odds and evens. So which one is it? Odds. Okay, it's the most recent one. That horror is a minor shock. Ah, your heart races and your breath catches in your throat. No additional effect? Flip it back face down. Okay, so at least one of her 2 random things is a minor thing. And she only has the 2 horror. 3 more and she goes insane. Oof, okay. Now, the mob moves 2 spaces towards the alley 2. Okay, yeah, alley 2 is that one. So the mob has caught up with the Deep One hybrid. The mass of citizens tramples anything and anyone in their way. Each investigator who shared a space with the mob suffers 1 face-down damage, becomes stunned, and moves with the mob to their space. But there are no investigators. Interesting. It says the mob attacks each investigator within range. It doesn't say the same space this time. I wonder if it said range last time, but apparently the mob has a ranged attack here? That would change my calculus a little bit. Eek. But I guess it's going to attack because it says within range, and range is 3. Shouting and cursing, the mob hurls chunks of concrete, bricks, broken bottles, and at one point, an old whaler's harpoon. You cannot escape the flood of projectiles. Suffer 2 face-down damage. Okay. Well, that was Rita, then Sinclair, so Rita suffers 2 face-down damage. It's not avoidable. Boo. Okay, and then the Deep One moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator, then attacks the one who has suffered the least horror. But he moves 2 spaces, and he only attacks someone who is in his space, so there's no one in his space this time. Each investigator must resolve a horror check. So again, they're going to be resolving horror checks against the riot, because the riot has the higher horror level of 4. So we're going to resolve 2 horror checks. First is going to be Rita. You expected an angry mob to be loud, to shout and threaten and curse. These people simply shuffle forward with one terrible silent purpose. Suffer 3 face-down horror, will negates. If you suffer 2 or more, you find their lethargy infectious, become dazed. Well, okay, her will is 4. This is pretty awful. If she gets absolutely nothing, she will go insane here, because 3 face-down horror is a lot. Okay, she got 2 successes, and we're going to use a clue to get the last magnifying glass, the last clue result on the die upgraded. So we have negated all 3, and she does not become dazed. Now it is Sinclair's turn against the same thing. One by one, the crowd drags out one of their number and, giggling, murders their former ally while you watch. Suffer 3 horror. Will +1 negates. So, his will is 3, so there's going to be 4 dice again to negate 3 horror. He doesn't have any clues left. He got 1 success, and he did have a clue result, but he has no clues to upgrade, so he suffers 2 face-down horror. Yeah, just suffer 3 horror, but it's implicitly face-down unless it says otherwise. So, that mob kinda sucks. But we're done with that now. Okay, investigator phase. Yeah, ouch from that mob. That one deep one hybrid is also kind of a pain. Let's see, Sinclair can cast a spell at that thing. Like, who's the best one to have searching? That's also Sinclair? Because he's got the good observation and lore. But, like, can I expect to find information about the Marsh family in the shack? Probably not. Probably something more like an item that would help. This stupid riot is just so dang strong. I guess I can assume it's going to move 2 spaces around the corner again. So I need both of my people to get beyond this tile to not suffer damage from them again. Which means Sinclair cannot afford to stop at all. Rita could do 1 search and then run to the new tile. Or I guess she could, like, search and then, like, explore partway through to see what's in the shack and then keep going. I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, Sinclair, if he stops at all, is just going to continue to get hit by them. I guess Sinclair could try to kill the one deep one hybrid with his with a spell, and then search search the boat that's next to him. I think it even said that this thing is locked. Yeah, you'll need a key to unlock it. I assume the key is in the boat. Hopefully not in the crates. Does this one also say it needs a key? Nope, it just says the door is weathered. So Rita can probably break through that on her way to the new tile. And an old rowboat sits here. It won't be enough to escape, but it might get you to the fishing boat in the bay. Interesting. This might be our way out, actually. Because we saw that there was an old fishing boat. I thought the fishing boat was, like, at the pier or at the docks. But maybe when Sinclair saw that boat, maybe that's actually our way out. Oof. If that's the way out, then, like, exploring any of the further stuff would not help us. But yeah, so you can read this. An old rowboat sits on the beach. It won't be enough to escape in, but it might get you to the fishing boat in the bay. So I thought that there would be, like, a boat for us to look at. But this is also pretty much in the center of the back. It's the farthest no matter which way we tried running. Well, I guess the farthest point would be, like, the next space. So I'm sorely tempted as to which way we should go here. Like, do we just try to get in the rowboat and leave? Or do I have Rita keep going? Well, you know what? The plan with Rita still sort of works both ways. If I have Rita start moving, as soon as she gets there, we can reveal what's there, and I can find out if there's actually a boat in the next area. So she's going to start her move. Her first space gets her to that search token, and now she is on the beach, so we can reveal. Ah. The back of the building overlooks the sea. On the eastern side of the building, a long dock stretches out into the bay. Place the rental dock and dock 2 tiles as indicated and discard all explore and site tokens leading into the area. So what do we have next? Oh, here, I need one of those 2 things. Let's see, dock 1? No, it's the rental dock and dock 2. Like, how many docks do you need, really? Okay, there's a dock 2. And the rental dock. This looks like a rental dock. Okay. So, Let's see, this connects directly to that. Discard of that token. And now that little piece of tackle is apparently at the end of the bay. Okay, so it gave us both of those tiles. That's nice. What's next? A number of rowboats are stacked on the dock. Place a search token as indicated. So perhaps that's another way for us to get out to the fishermen? A small boat rental stand... Yeah, that's a rental shack. A small boat rental stands on the dock, but it looks to be closed for the night. Place an explore token as indicated. And way out there, at the end of the dock, an unlit lantern hangs from one of the supports. Place a search token as indicated. And I've gone off the end of the board again. Time to shuffle all this stuff down just a little bit. Here, I'll just move that so we can see it. But yeah, that's just the end of the same dock out there. Okay, an unlit lantern. Perhaps that's how we can signal the fishermen to get to us. On the other side of the rental dock, an alley curves around the building and out of sight. Place a token as indicated. And yeah, that sort of links up with, we have like a square's worth of building, and then that's the other alley. Okay, so let's investigate what we can see without spending actions. The front door to the boat rental building was once painted a happy blue, but is now cracking and peeling to reveal gray wood. The boats. A number of rowboats are stacked on the dock. You might be able to use one of them to reach the fishing boat in the bay. Let's see, an alley next to the building. If you're on the rental dock, you can reveal it. And now, way at the end, a large unlit lantern hangs from a creaking support. You can light the lantern only if you have a light source. So it looks like we have a couple of ways out here, potential ways out. We could try using this old rowboat. If we scroll down to that. It says it's an old one. It's not enough to escape, but it might get you to the fishing boat. So maybe this is like harder skill checks or something. Versus the boats over here appear to be better. But if we get all the way out here with our light source, that may be enough to, like, that should signal the guy out in the bay to come get us, please. So if I continue with what she's doing, like she's gone 1 space, 2, 3, she can move all the way out to that dock this turn, and next turn she can, like, explore with it, and like she can light that because she has the light source. So then the question is, what things do I want to try to interact with on the way there? Because I could stop right where I am and try to interact with that rowboat. I could move like 2 or 3, and like I can continue with my move after whichever of these 3 things I attempt to interact with. Yeah, the moldy shack, I think I can break into out of any of these things. None of it really strikes me as something that would get me evidence on the Marsh family. And if it's not getting me evidence on the Marsh family, I just want to escape. So that's a bit tricky. But I guess I want to interact with one of them, and then next turn I will make it to the end of the dock and light the lantern. So, the boat. Shack 1 or Shack 2? There's a lot of shacks on this beach. I didn't start with that first shack. Well, if I'm getting out to the light, I'm not going to mess around with the rowboat. So I'm going to go to... I'll move 2 spaces. I'm going to interact with the beach shack. Because that door specifically says it's weathered, Rita should be able to break it down and get in. So her second action. You squint into the darkness of the shack, expecting to see a cluttered interior. You're surprised when the inside of the shack is nearly empty. A single panel in the wall seems to lead into the building behind the shack. Discard this Explore token and place an Explore token as indicated. So you may move 1 space. So that's actually a secret passage. We found a secret passage into the building. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into the building. I want to leave. So I'm not going to move 1 space like into the explored area, it doesn't really seem like there's a separate space there. Really, it doesn't even seem like there's a separate space, like, on that side either. But she's gonna just finish her move. Her move 3 gets her to there, and next turn she's gonna light that lamp. Now, for Sinclair's side of things. Sinclair, finish off the deep one, then move? Tempted to explore one of these things, but if I'm not going into the boat... Yeah, this one's waterlogged. Like, I don't want that boat. So I'm going to move 2 spaces as Sinclair, and I'm going... If he just kept moving... Oh, I completely forgot. She's technically on the rental dock, so I can explore, reveal this. Hey, we've got our complete loop around now. We're down the dark alley to the east of the building. So we've got alley corner 1 and alley 1. There's houseboat tiles, all these different street corners. There we go. Nope, that's street corner 1, not alley corner 1. Well, these two have to be the ones I'm looking for because they're the last two. Okay, alley corner 1 and alley 1. So, connected that. And we have connected all the way around the building now. Okay. Well, we did find a secret passage into the building that we don't really need to use. Connected that. Okay, let's see if there's any interesting bits around there. You see a drunk old man slumped against a crate. Place a person as indicated. I mean, there's no way I'm getting to him. But okay, we've got a person in the corner there. Man, if we had gone the other way, Sinclair would have had something to do. Oh, and a figure peers into the alley from a door leading into the adjacent. Man, we clearly went the wrong way on this one. So now we've got... Well, it's a different lady, but it's still a brown tile. Place a person as indicated. And another door leads to a tower that stretches high above the rest of the nearby buildings. Interesting. And that's it. So, ideally, if we had known everything about this map, we could have just gone into the hotel, found this mysterious back door, and gone straight out really fast. Yeah, man, all of... Like, interacting with people, that's what Sinclair does best. And he just got some trash dumped on him for his troubles in this game. Whew. Okay. So, yeah, Rita went. Sinclair still has one more thing he can do. Now, if we just have Sinclair move again, he could just, like, he would be out. Both people would be out of the riot's horror check range, and that horror check is about as bad as being attacked. So, as much as I could simply kill that Deep 1 hybrid, the Deep 1 hybrid appears to be doing, like, melee attacks. He's not doing range stuff, at least so far, it's all by chance. But as long as I just stay out of his reach, I should be fine. So Sinclair, if I move him to Rita's space, then, like, next turn I can have her give him the evidence she collected. Then she can run off and light the lamp. So I'm just going to move him to her space. Given he only has the 2 movement, he can't get to the end of the dock this turn anyway. But that's going to keep them out of horror check range of the mob. It'll just be this Deep 1 guy. Hopefully. That we have to deal with on this turn. So Sinclair simply moved over to there, and we end this investigator phase. Mythos. Someone did not put the manhole cover back. This Mythos event affects the investigator in an alley or street with the lowest observation. Well, we are not in any alleys. We are on the rental dock, and there are no manhole covers on the rental dock. Okay. The rioting townsfolk beat the walls of the buildings with boards and bottles. The sound of shattering glass pierces the fog and reverberates throughout the walls of the hotel. Darkness overtakes the alleyway as the lights are smashed. Place darkness in each space in Alley 2. Then each investigator suffers one face-down horror. Here. Okay, so adding a couple darkness to this alley because they knocked out all the lights. We shouldn't get face-down horror way the heck out there when we've got lanterns, all these lights and stuff, and they're just being jerks over there. We already knew they were there. But no, we each get an extra face-down horror because of this. Most unfair to my eyes, I'd say. Oh, Sinclair had 2 horror already. I'm not sure if I just accidentally gave him 2 instead of 1, or if I just collapsed those and was not paying attention. There we go, get them all facing the same direction. So she has 3 horror and 2 damage. He has 3 horror. Okay, what next? The Innsmouth mob moves 2 spaces towards the pier. So they have made it to the pier. One fell off, doesn't matter. Okay, nobody was in the path with them, and so no one suffered that damage or became stunned. And attacks the investigator in its space. Nobody is in its space. The deep one moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. He's on the beach now. Then it attacks the investigator in its space who has suffered the most damage. Nobody there. Oh, then he moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. Now he is in the same space with us. We'll just set him to the side there. Okay, must resolve a horror check against the monster within range with highest horror. This time it's just the deep one, so they're each going to have a check against the hybrid. Yeah, so this is Rita first. A wet, musky aroma fills the air as the hybrid exhales hideous fumes. So, strength check. You need a 2. She has 5 strength. Oh yeah, three successes, an easy pass. Okay, if you fail, nope, don't have to worry about flipping a horror face up. And now the same thing once again. Hello, Aurora. Let me pause. There we go, she came back down. So, this is Sinclair's horror check. The hybrid's eyes are huge and black, more fish than human. Suffer 1 horror. Will +1 negates. His will is 3, so this is 4 dice. He only needs 1 success here. And he got 2. Okay, so this round, all fine. Yeah, the hybrid is much less horrifying than the riot. Nothing else from them? Okay, now it is investigator phase time. Okay, we can expect the mob to come around the side. The funny thing is, if I wanted to just prolong things and search as much as I possibly could, I could run them all the way around this building again, because their range is basically 3. The only real issue is those dang events that just gave us horror no matter where we were. So if it wasn't for things like that, and I'm sure that's exactly why they have things like that, if it wasn't for those, I could just keep running around and try to gather more evidence. But I can't do that. So Rita wants to move to the end and light the signal lantern. So that's going to be her 2 actions. But we're going to have Sinclair go first. A, because he's got the melee spell that's going to hopefully finish off this deep one. And B, he wants to get that missing link evidence from her as well. But we're going to do the attack first. So he's going to do a melee spell attack using Spectral Razor. Okay, so this is Sinclair. It's going to be up there by one of the shacks. So let's get this guy off our backs. Attack with a spell. You struggle to contort your hands. Oh, come on, it's his worst stat. Into appropriate arcane gesture, agility 2. If you pass, your hand suddenly freeze in place. Okay, so this is Spectral Razor. It's a melee spell, which I thought would be easier because there's more restrictions. You have to be in the same space to do it. But this is agility, and his agility is not great. So only 2, and he has to get 2 successes. He has no clues. But he got them. That's a success and a success. So, wow. Okay, your hand suddenly freezes in place, and a jolt of black lightning leaps towards your enemy. The monster suffers damage equal to the spell's damage, which is 2. If you fail, your fingers fail to cooperate. Okay, so we have dealt the damage. So the monster is discarded. And then I was expecting it to say, and then flip over the card, but I guess I should have done that first. So same as last time, we're going to roll the d10 to figure out which copy of the spell we used. It's an 8, so it's going to be the 4th from the top again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our spell for today. So flip it over, and losing control of the energy, it bursts from your hands in a flurry of quick slices. The blood it draws only strengthens its power to cause pain. You and each other investigator in your space suffers 1 face-down damage. Then the monster suffers 1 additional damage for each investigator in your space. Then discard this and draw another copy. So I cause damage to ourselves and Rita to deal 2 more damage to the monster that I already killed. So, a reminder to flip the spell over before you mark the monster as gone. So it was a nasty spell, but unfortunately, now we've got 3 damage on Rita. Yeah. Okay. I think I want Sinclair to go out to the end of the dock as well. It's basically, is it going to end next turn, which would be kind of surprising, or are the mobs, like, because if the mob moves 2 again, we will be just out of range of the horror checks if we're all at the end of the pier. So I can mess around with all of the sigils and the evidence and stuff next turn. It's weird, but yeah, we're going to move out there. Then Rita uses 2 of her 3 movement to get out there, and she is going to use the light source she has to light the lantern. So that's her second action. We just run straight through it. You light the lantern. It burns brightly, its light piercing through the fog. Out in the bay, you see a light flash twice. If you can signal the boat, you could escape. Become focused, then discard this search token. So focused we haven't used in a little bit, but when you are focused, you may discard the focused condition to convert all of your clue results to successes when doing a test. So that is Rita's, because she's the one who lit the boat. But yeah, if you can signal the boat, I thought I just signaled the boat, because its light just flashed twice. Did I not just signal the boat? Like it said, discard the token, but I thought, it makes sense, if you can signal the boat. So if that wasn't enough, then I may need to go, like there's one building taller than all of the other ones. Maybe that's a lighthouse, and I can set it on fire or something to try to signal the boat. But yeah, so maybe that was... Okay, maybe there is more stuff I need to do out on this beach with all of these tokens. But either way, that's going to end this investigator phase, and now I'm concerned. Cryptic shapes loom in the shadows. This events each investigator in a space with darkness. Well, even if there was, because we're both with a light source, we would ignore it anyway. So the mob moves 2 spaces towards the beach. Now we've got a party on the beach. The horde brings with them anyone foolish enough to be swept up in the clamor. So that's more face-down damage. Attacks each investigator in the space. Okay, now it's time for horror checks, but we are just out of range, being at the end of the pier. So we don't have to do any checks. End the mythos phase. And it's the investigator phase again. So now I'm fearing... Yeah, it said there's a long time here. I may have to do... I was joking before. I may actually have to do a full circuit of the map again, running away from this mob, because they are... Apparently, lighting the signal lantern was not enough of a signal to signal the boat. Or maybe I actually need to use one of these rowboats to get out of there. Okay. This is also probably a good cut point for the part 1 video of, uh-oh, what are we going to do next? Well, either way, see you soon.